everybody, it is November 13th, 2008. I'm Sonic Sons, and I'm going to talk a little bit about scams. Scams, you heard of these things? There's all sorts of things lurking about, and you've got to be wary of them. Last time I made this video, I went over the 10-minute limit on these things, and thanks to my editing software, I'm being unable to splice up AVI files. Well, I'm going to have to make this a bit shorter. Let's see, there was the old Nigerian scam where they're like, hey, we're going to send money from point A to point B, but for some reason we need to send it through your bank account first, and we'll give you a percentage on it if you just give us your bank account information. No. Don't do that. Particularly for someone you've never heard of. Yeesh. I feel sorry for honest Nigerian people. You know, you probably have a bad reputation now that you don't deserve. Just because of the jerk people, whoever they were that set up the email thing. There's a whole list, actually. I went through this once on Wikipedia of all the classic cons. There's a deal where if you're selling something expensive, like a car, you're selling it for, I'm going to make up numbers for the entirety of this video. You're selling a car for like $10,000. And someone will say, hey, I live in a different continent, but I'd like to buy your thing, and because I live in a different continent, I have it shipped to me, right? And that'll cost like $1,000 to ship it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for the car and the shipping costs. I'll give you all that money. Then you send money to the shipping people, and they will send the car to me. But it seems a little odd. Why can't he just talk to the shipping people directly? He'll make up some excuse. Now, he'll send you a check for $11,000. You send it to the bank, and you get $11,000. Your account goes up by $11,000. Like, oh my gosh, he must have been telling the truth. He wasn't. Because what happens is, you forward $1,000 over to the shipping people, and wait for them to come pick up the car, which they never do. A couple weeks later, the bank calls back and says, hey, remember that check that didn't bounce? Guess what? It bounced. Because it turns out that when you get money accredited to your account, the check hasn't really cleared yet. It's really just the initial phase. They're like, oh, look, it's a check. And then they just, very basic security. Then there's all this crap routing numbers, and they send it to some other bank, find out whose account this is supposed to be from, and eventually you realize, oh, wait, there's no money here. And so you just forwarded $1,000 because you got $11,000. Really, you got $0. So you're out $1,000. You see how that works? Pyramid schemes, those are really fun. It'll be like, okay, well, you give $10 into this system, you join the system, and then two other people will each give you $10, and you'll end up with $20, which is an overall profit. And then those two other people, they join the system because they had each gave in $10 themselves, so they themselves could get the same deal you just got, where two other people have those two people. You see there's one, there's two, and then there's four, and then there's a pyramid. The problem is, you quickly run out of people. The whole deal is, hey, I put money into this system, so other people will do the same thing, and then I'll get that money, and then so very basic logic should tell you that, hey, you're just changing money around here. You have this, you have that, you have that. You're not exchanging goods or services or anything actually useful. It just, shouldn't that not work? Guess what? It doesn't work. Because at some point, someone will be like, okay, I put my $10 in, and then someone else will, and nothing happens. No matter at what point the pyramid breaks down, the majority of people get screwed over. That's the math of it. Except, and the people at the top who started this thing, they'll have 27 accounts all at the very top, so they'll get free money out of it. And that's a scam there. There are other things that don't necessarily involve money, but they'll involve time. Like, click on this many advertisements or something. And if you get 5 of your friends to do it too, which maybe you can game that if you pay your other 5 friends to do that too, and they, and then maybe that could be a benefit overall, but iffy things, other scams. There's a classic violin one I found on Wikipedia. It's just so clever and also so evil. Here's how it works. There's a guy, two comment, right? One of them is kind of disheveled, and he's carrying a violin. He goes into a fancy restaurant. There's a waiter or whomever. I'll just call him the waiter for the rest of this. And he's like, okay, is a disheveled guy in a fancy restaurant, but whatever. He serves him at the end of the meal. Guy says, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I left my wallet back in my shack, or whatever it is he claims to come from. But I'll go get it, and as collateral while I go get it, you can have my oh, so precious violin. Because he explains that he makes his living off this violin. He plays maybe on the street, I don't know. I'll go get my wallet. And the waiter's like, okay, takes the thing and whatever. Comment number 2 walks in, dressed very smart, very rich-like, and comes in and says, is that a, oh my gosh, it's a blah-blah-blah, incredibly expensive violin, it's worth $20,000, and he says, okay, here's my card, I got a very important appointment, I'll be back in half an hour, and I'll buy that from you for $20,000. Act's all excited. Everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, 20,000, I get 20,000 does it. Oh wait, it's not my violin. Unless they say you can't con an honest man. Technically you can, but most of the cons involve someone doing something illegal or something unethical, so they can't really complain. You know, if you're conned in like the drug trade, you can't go to the cops and be like, hey, I was trading drugs the other day. Oh wait. This case not involving drugs, but it does involve unethical activity, because the guy knows now it's worth $20,000, and he's gonna try and mini con the con man out of it. Con man number 1 comes back in, I'll just shove it, here's my wallet, I'm gonna pay for my meal, and the waiter says, oh, hey, I'd like to buy this violin. Yeah, violin, I like violins, they're very cool. How's $1,000 go, or whatever? And the guy's all iffy, man, but eventually he parts with it. Okay, I got a $1,000 check, but he's like, I lost my violin. And the waiter's like, aha, I got a violin, now I can wait for comment number 2 to walk back in, and then I'll pay me $20,000, make a $19,000 profit. Isn't this awesome? Isn't this waiting? Nothing happens. Conmans number 1 and 2 have fled town. And you just purchased a really piece of crap violin for $1,000. Good job. One thing that was presented to me personally a year or two ago was this girl who said she was looking for a job opportunity with something called like LTD. It was like Leadership Team Development something. And I asked her what it was all about, and she spoke in rather marketable terms. She already talked to one of the people actually in this program, but it's kind of hard to define exactly what we were doing. She did mention at some point essentially a discount program. You'd buy stuff, and like you tell them if it was good stuff or not, like Secret Shopper, and then they give you like a percentage based on what you bought. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of hardly earn you money per se. So you could buy stuff and then try selling it back again at full price, and then you eventually make money off of it. And furthermore, she wasn't sure if that's what we would really do. Now, she also mentioned that they're affiliated with a thing called Quickstar. Bad sign. Always look these things up. I looked it up. I hadn't heard of it before. But there's a whole deal with, like, Dateline, like, investigated them for a year, and they got, like, secret cameras, and they got terrible conning, and basically it all amounts to, they tell you you can, you know, make money from home and crap. The only way to do that is to buy their, like, books and audio tapes that tell you how to do this. And, you know, none of it really works at all. But the whole rallies of like 20,000 people in a stadium, like, hey, quit that sinking job, and they get you all riled up and sell you a bunch of crap. So she had to go to this semi-interview thing where the guy was just telling me what the program was about. I intentionally left my wallet in my dorm room just to be sure I wouldn't accidentally give him any money. Going with a laptop, I'm looking up everything as he says it. You know, I mentioned, like, the Dateline thing, the investigation, and they didn't really like this whole Quickstar bit and whatever. And I kept asking him questions, to which he couldn't answer. I asked him, what would I do? Would I work, like, in an office, or work at home? Would I work, like, on the road? Would I talk to people? Would I talk to computers? Would I, you know, what skills do you need? He couldn't answer me. Couldn't answer. He kept saying that there was, like, some other meeting that I eventually would get to go to, and then I would learn more stuff. He kept saying, you know, that such an important company had this brochure with all these nice graphs and stuff, which when you looked at them, it didn't actually mean anything. They'd be like a map of the world, like, look, it's the world, yada yada. I'm like, what do you do? I'm asking, what is your job? And apart from sitting right there talking to me, he couldn't say anything else he did in the actual program, just saying, come to the next meeting, come to the... And I'm like, oh, crap. So at the end of this, I said, thanks for your time, but I think it's a scam. And I shook his hand, and he was nice, actually, the whole time. Even when I said the word scam, he said, okay, whatever, you know. And I don't actually know what happened to that other girl, or if ever she lost money to these people, or what. But yeah, when they can't even tell you what you do at the job, it's a bad sign. There's a simple rule of thumb. Pay attention, and like that waiter guy I mentioned, don't try and be bad, unethical, illegal, any sort of things. You know, keep your wits about you, and you can avoid being scammed out of your freaking life and home and all that. Thanks for watching. See you later.